All right, good morning, everyone. Welcome to day 2 session. This is Why Work With Me, part 2. And we did leave off yesterday with some homework. What was the homework?
Fill out.
Elevator speech, right? So to have your elevator speech ready, it is important because when you start a conversation with strangers, there's a few things that come up. It's either weather,
Mhm.
and the other thing is,
How's the
what do you
market?
do?
Yeah.
Yeah, they say, well, oh, what do you do?
Oh, what do you do?
You know, that's typically like human nature, like what we usually go to in just conversations.
Yep.
It's just very common, right?
On the plane ride home. I
Oh,
was thinking, oh, so what do you do?
yeah,
Oh, there you go.
always. So, and then as soon as they find out what you do, the question always comes up. Oh, wait, how's the market? This is just, it always comes to that. And what do you say? So we're gonna go around and let's kind of start. McKenna, would you like to start?
So, well, on the sheet that we handed out.
Oh, yeah.
I started with a prompt and I said that I help my friends, family, and community in all real estate needs by providing reliable and strategic services, housing services. So that was my one-liner approach to that. And then I used for the 30-second elevator pitch, I'm McKenna and I bring a mix of marketing expertise and real estate experience as a licensed broker. What it means for you is that your home gets the kind of exposure that attracts the right buyers. And when you're buying, I know how to position you to stand out in the market. My goal is to always make the process smooth, clear, and successful from start to finish. So
That's good. All right, I'll go.
maybe a little.
Here's my general one-liner, if you don't know if they're a buyer or a seller. I'm Eric Scholl, managing broker with over 25 years of experience. I help clients buy and sell with confidence by combining expert strategy, clear communication, and proven results. That's my short, sweet, very fast one. And then one's for seller one-liner is I'm Eric Scholl, a certified seller marketing specialist with over 25 years of experience. I help sellers maximize value by combining proven marketing with modern technology to get top results. And then one for buyers is I'm Eric Scholl, managing broker with John L. Scott Real Estate for over 25 years in Seattle real estate. Oh, that doesn't make sense. I'm Eric Scholl, managing broker with 25 years in Seattle real estate experience. I guide buyers through every step with clear strategy, strong negotiation, and the confidence to land the right home. So that's what I put. Samantha, would you like to share?
My prompt, I said I help first-time home buyers making their dreams come true. And for my little 30-second, hi, my name is Samantha Wooten. I love helping my clients navigate every single step of the real estate journey. Whether you're buying or selling, investing, I want to always make sure I have the open lines of communication. I want to always make sure you're well informed and confident after every conversation. Right. And confident after each conversation. I pride myself on being there every step of the way, breaking it down for my clients. And because I also treat every transaction with care, honesty, transparency, and focus.
Got those keywords in there.
And focus on building long-term relationships.
That's great.
I love that.
Yeah, you use a lot of the keywords we talked about yesterday. Aaron, would you like to share?
Yeah, but I will. But I don't know if to put on that first line,
Yeah.
the part 2. What excellent real estate results are your goal. My knowledge, extensive years of experience, savvy marketing, and personalized guidance through the many steps of a transaction will knock your socks off.
All right.
I love it.
That.
I like that
Great.
word personalized.
Yeah, that was a
I think,
good keyword.
yeah, out of all those, I like the words proven results, experience, maximize value, top results, confidence, honesty and care, and personalized. I think those are a good mixture that make it feel what's the value to me and why should I choose you? So you're gonna give me a personalized experience that provides value and you're gonna be genuine and transparent with me about it.
Ryan, did you do your homework? I know yesterday, I don't remember Shelley if you got in yesterday's class, so we'll have you guys.
But if you have
share.
one.
Yeah, if you have one.
Yeah, yeah. Unfortunately, I had to drop right at 12 yesterday. But just off the cuff, just put the customer at ease, knowing that I'll guide them through the process, make sure that there's nothing they're going to miss, that I've got that covered for them, and help them find the exact place that they're looking for their new home with my knowledge of the area.
Great.
And knowledge.
Local expert, remember? That was another
Yeah.
keyword from yesterday, so.
Local is definitely, especially in our area, for people to say Seattle, like going from the Seattle
Yeah.
area or looking for Seattle homes. You're really not looking for Seattle unless you're in Seattle. So if you are looking in for a listing or a buyer in Seattle, you can put Seattle for sure, but you do want to be mindful if there's a local, hyper-local market that you're trying to target for your hashtags, for your social media, for your emails, any communication of that with your clients, that you're not only putting Seattle, but you're putting Kent, you're putting Renton, you're putting Normandy Park, you're putting the exact location that there is relevant to them. Because Seattle, yeah, like I saw a graph the other day and it said, or it was like a image of Seattle and it said, this means you're from Seattle. And it was just a little circle around Seattle. It's like, you're actually from Seattle. And then the circle around it got a little bigger and it said, you can say you're from Seattle, but you're kind of not. And then the bigger circle was like anything a half mile outside. It
Yeah.
was like, you say you're from Seattle, but you're not from Seattle. So it's like, I know people reference like, oh, Seattle area, but really hone in, especially when you're here and
Yeah.
communicating for your marketing pieces and in your client conversations. Don't emphasize Seattle market and Seattle stuff. Emphasize the market you're talking about and what they is applicable to them.
Especially if it's applicable to them.
Yeah.
And you work that market, you need to
Yes.
make sure you use the same city, the same town, the
Yes.
same neighborhood name
Yeah,
again.
especially down here when we're closer to Pierce County. By county, especially let's talk about the median price, like it's very different what's going on in both the Pierce County and King County area and Southeast King County. So even knowing exactly where they're looking or where they're located at can affect what you're sending them or what you're talking to them about. So especially in
Yeah.
the South End.
It's funny you say that because just coming back from Europe, myself from vacation trip, talking with other people, they're like, when they're like, oh, where are you from? And they have accents and stuff. I can't say, oh, we live in downtown Bothell. They'd be like, where is that?
Yeah.
Is
Yeah.
that on earth at all? So I did constantly have, we would both say, my wife and I, we would both say, oh yeah, we're from Seattle. And they're like, oh, Seattle.
Mhm.
Oh, awesome. So that definitely was something that we would end up saying because you're farther away from home, so I guess it's a little bit easier to do it. But when you're trying to establish a working relationship, especially with a stranger, when you're having that elevator pitch, yeah, you want to be, don't kind of put yourself in a box that that you don't want to be in, because clients, like they literally will hone in on, oh, you work the only Seattle or what? Because I know, like, when I worked in the Bellevue office, constantly when we meet clients or talking with people from Mercer Island, we're in Bellevue, like, I could see Mercer Island from here. Like, what are you talking about? They're like,
Yeah.
oh, you don't work on the island? Like, I do sales on the island all the time. What do you mean, so when
First
you,
of all, I've always been that way.
yeah, but see, clients will do that. You'll even have clients who are like, have you guys had this yet? Like, oh, yeah, this listing is not listed by John Scott, so I guess I can't show it to me, I guess.
They think you have
They
to
think that.
associate with them to work with them.
Yeah, it's
Mhm.
weird, but
Mhm.
that does happen.
Sure.
All right, let's go ahead and share any questions before we move on. Jump into our day 2 presentation. Let me hide this. All right, here is why we're day 2. All right, so recap in our share outs, we did our 90 second pitch. If you don't have one of those yet, you really should work on it and just internalize that script to be your own and have that ready at all times. Because literally, like, you gotta get used to it saying it. I mean, Brian did a job like just like, oh, I'll just say one.
Sure.
Because you really need to have that down. You're gonna be having conversations with people. And it's critical to really have something polished that you can repeat like every single time and just have it ready.
Last year I was here at a class with Lan Win and she had a speech, I don't know what he was like
Coach.
a speech coach.
Yep.
Or public speaker coach here.
Both.
And I didn't know who he was, so he was talking to Eric and Lan, and I walk up and I was like, hey, he goes, hi, what's your name? And I was like, oh, McKenna. He asked, so what do you do? Like, oh, well, you know, and I rambled for like a minute. And I was like, I kind of do some marketing stuff for people in houses, and you know, I help them do social and listen. And he goes, way too long. And I was like, what? I had no clue who he was. I didn't know he was a public speaker
Yeah.
coach, and he is like, that needs to happen in 10 seconds. You lost me in the first 5, which is funny because it's kind of like social media. If you don't have
It
a
is.
video
That
that's
is
captured in the
true.
first 10 seconds,
Yeah.
I'm not gonna watch the rest of it.
Yep.
So it's kind of the same with your elevator pitch and the value that you bring, even telling somebody in the 10 seconds what you do. It does matter what those words are that you kind of, what you communicate and what sounds like you, what doesn't. And
Yeah.
you have to practice those things.
Next is the social proof and reputation engine. So reviews, referrals, and then the retention playbook. It's really critical to get the referrals. Referrals is kind of like your online currency. The more you have of it, the more people will be attracted to you for more additional business. Vanessa Batencourt, I'll talk about her for a second. She has a fantastic Google business profile. She has a ton of reviews and she gets a ton of business from just Google for free,
Without paid.
without paid. And she does such a good job with her clients getting those referrals right away, or those reviews. And then the other key piece that she does is she responds to every one of them right away. So when they leave the review, she replies to the review.
Thank you so much.
It is just increases your Google juice, and it's gonna serve you up on the maps more. So when people are like, find me they're doing it from their phone and they're on a map, or if they're doing like Amazon, they're like totally looking for, someone too, like from Talk. Like you'll find those profiles, AI crawls those sites, and reviews is the top thing that they search for. So any of the keywords of what clients are saying, like, you did such a good job helping me sell my home in, Bothell. You did such, when the clients say those types of things too, that also will give you more weight in areas. So if you've never taken a Google business class, we will try to have Wendy Lunt come back again. She's fantastic about doing it. You can use ChatGPT to help improve your profile too. You can actually give it your link and say, tell me ways I can improve this. Another good thing to do is every single week or every 2 weeks at least, if you log in to your Gmail and you're logged in on your profile, and if you actually go to, go to Google, search your name, your profile should come up and you should be logged in already. And these little boxes, you'll see these tiny little boxes, and each one has it'll say something like, how to improve your profile, or it'll say, would you like to post a ad this week? Would you like to do this? If you literally just went through and clicked the little menu, the little 3 menu dots, and you said clear each of those little messages, and you go, oh, your messages are clear. If you did that every couple weeks, it's gonna raise your profile because it shows you are extremely active. So that's just another tip that you can do, but huge. Zillow, I completely pulled away from Zillow. I'm never sending clients to go to Zillow to leave a review about me. Main reason why I do that is Google is a brokerage. They are a marketing company, but they are actually in our Northwest MLS. So do not send,
Yeah.
unless you are paying for leads through Google, or excuse me, through Zillow, then that'd be the only reason why I still see it be a good idea to get reviews on Zillow. I'm not a fan. Not a fan. They're a wolf in sheep's clothing. I mean, they really are. They're out to get your lunch. Every time you list a property, they're advertising your listing to the public. And then the public's coming there and they're calling them to give away your lead.
Yeah.
I mean, that's really the truth of it.
It's true.
But Google, on the other hand, you can actually get free leads. You don't have to pay for ads. If you do the right things and you constantly get reviews. Another key thing that you can do in Zillow, you get the opportunity to get one review. That's it. Only one per the sale. How many can you get for one sale through Google? Do you guys know?
You're just talking about like limited.
Yeah,
limits of
what's the
reviews.
limit?
You don't have a limit to
You
review.
don't have a limit.
Yeah.
So what are you talking about, Eric? I only had one buyer. It's a single guy. Who else am I gonna have give me a Google review? Well, that buyer had a lender, so that lender can give you a review on how you did, how was your communication. The title people are not allowed to do it, but I've gotten a few of them to do it. So I would still try. The home inspector, they can give you a review. Oh, the electrician who came back to go fix the panel.
Mhm.
Oh, the person that also came out to clean the property before they got possession. Cleaners can give it. Any of the vendors under the sun can give you a review from that.
And they're still working with you.
And they're
So it's
still,
saying, oh, I worked with so and so and I did a great job communicating when I need to be at the house, blah, blah, blah. So it's even the communication of not just the client, but also the business relationships you're gonna have are a great way to pull in all the keywords of, well, yeah, working with this person is great.
yeah.
Mhm.
The more times that people can put into the review keywords, like this person was so great, they did great in communication. I really liked working with them and I've trusted all of the information they provided me, see, know, like, and trust. Those are the biggest reasons why people will choose to work with you. So sometimes I know some people are like, hey, buyer, would you like me to provide you with a Google review? You can just post for me.
Mhm.
I know some people that do that and they do all the keywords and stuff. And sometimes clients are, because sometimes clients are like, yeah, I would do it. I don't know what to say. Or, I've had some people just leave me a star review. And even if they do that, you should respond to their review no matter what.
The 5 stars.
Yeah. And then if you want to get more reviews, give more reviews. Go to the lender that did a good job, give them a review. Go to the vendor, give them a review, give them a review first. They'll be like, oh, thank you, wow, that was awesome. And then it's easier for you to get more. So I would definitely try to do that as much as possible. Packaging your services, buyer and listing consults, pricing, marketing, negotiations. This is a key piece that you're going to implement. Someone isn't gonna argue about how much you're charging when you lay it all out and describe exactly what you'll be doing for them. Consultations is literally where the battles are won, and it's where you win over competition. It's where you show your professionalism. This is something that came about, obviously, from what?
Oh, I was gonna say with changes too in our.
Oh, from the changes for the laws changes for.
Yeah, a lot of people, even myself, have had to figure out the buyer presentation more because you need to ask them to meet up before they decide. Cause I even had some friends who consulted with somebody else and they're like, well, I'm just gonna go with them, but I didn't even have a chance to do a consultation with them because now you have to do that with your buyer to sell
Right.
what your business is, your services are to them. So it's not just the listing presentation and what you communicate and how you communicate it. It's also the buyer side now too.
Mhm.
And it needs to be figured out, just like your elevator pitch, it takes some practice and preparation to really wow them now, because you have to fight for that percent, you know, with that commission. I mean, you're not gonna wanna easily give that up.
Yeah. So. The home seller guide and of course the home buying advantage guide. These are both like probably one of the strongest two pieces of marketing that John L. Scott has built. And these are about 9 years, almost a decade old now. From getting these put together. How this all started was the relocation company, or within John L. Scott, the reload team. They wanted to find out what our ratios were. Lennox asked our old manager, Barry, it's like, hey, Barry, what's our ratios, And essentially what he was asking him was, whenever a John L. Scott broker, and maybe a Windermere or a Keller Williams, Coldwell Banker or Compass or whoever, whenever they came to meet with a seller or a buyer, what was our ratios of winning? And at the time, Barry said, oh, we're 57%, Lennox. And he was like, that's supposed to be something good. Well, the industry average, it's only about the 54 to 55%. Because you got a 50-50 shot. And Lennox was like, well, that's weird, like, that's not good.
Yeah.
He goes, we got a 50-50 shot no matter what. Because when Relo is hired, they need one broker from two separate companies. So you got a 50-50 shot anyway. So he was like, okay, we need to work on, I can see this as like, there's a huge, gap here. We gotta figure this out. So they worked on this for just months. They brought in our top listing brokers in the company. They said, let's get together. Let's look at your listing presentations. I want you to bring them in and let's go, we're gonna have a mastermind meeting about this. Let's figure out what is everyone doing. And what they figured out is everyone's different. They were either way too long presentations, way too short. Some were, dry, some were like way too technical, it was just all over the map. And Lennox was like, in my mind, I just always thought that this was always gonna be like a professional consultation. Like, that's what it was. And when he said the words, everyone just like, okay, they've kind of figured it out, let's map this out. And they've been, they built both of these guides out because they figured out if every single person had a baseline of a foundation on how they can present and give a professional consultation with either working with a buyer or a seller, your odds of winning go through the roof. Because what they figured out, like, why did people lose? Well, a lot of times they just didn't cover everything, or maybe they missed something. And this was just a nice, clean, easy way to present and to that professional consultation and make sure you don't skip anything. And it's just so much more polished.
And there's so many pieces that I'll touch on, but that are in there that you can share in every social media and marketing facet. Like, I put that marketing campaign out because there's a lot of different pieces you can do. And the content, if you're worried about the content, I did include the content pillars page again. All of this can become content for you to put out either digitally or in print media or something you're physically handing to them at the door. That's gonna wow them if they know that you do professional photography for all years, or you know that they do staging, or you do pricing in a strategic way. This is how you analyze the home, and you go around the neighborhood, and then you have to walk through if they see the process and how you do it, and they actually didn't even know how that's done, or they've seen somebody else do it and it was nothing compared to your services. That's just content that stands out.
Yeah.
It's what you do and how you do it, and then why you do it. So that's natural, organic content that is showing your business, your value, through all those different facets I put on that page.
Yeah, our win ratios today
Okay.
in our relo is 86% as our average just now. So we literally went to the 50s to 80, high 80s. Some months we even hit the 90s or 100. There's been times where they just kill every one of them. I remember when Amazon had reached out, they said. You guys are winning like every single one of these appointments. They're like, what are you guys doing? And the reload team had presented and showed them, hey, well, this is what we do. This is how we do it. They were thoroughly impressed. They said, well, and they had became a preferred vendor. So John L. Scott has been a preferred reload team member for Amazon. So that's,
Hmm.
it definitely speaks loud and we know that it works. So I would definitely do those courses. If you've never done those certification courses online, they're in your My Desk. You can go now for 3 free clock hours and go through the whole thing on your own. And we have put those on many times, but
Yeah.
that's definitely something you guys should do. Action plan and KPIs, what to track weekly and how to
How to iterate.
iterate.
How to irritate.
I can't even speak.
How to irritate.
How to irritate, iterate.
Your progress.
Yes.
And if what you're doing is working and if people are working with you and why they're working with you.
Yeah, I know later we'll talk about this, but like your win rate, like you should be keeping track of everything. That's your,
Your wins and your
your
losses.
wins, your losses, how you're doing, how many consultations you've done. If you're losing, a lot of them, then you're like, okay, I'm missing something, I should be closing
Yep.
a lot more. So where are the gaps? What am I doing at that point? It might be time to do some one-on-ones or record yourself, have, us look at it, stuff. What do you think? So there's a lot of different things you can do.
Yep.
Social proof and reputation,
Mhm.
how to gain trust, awareness, and a brand.
So we're talking about referrals are your number one way of getting business. When I was working with Josh, he has a little pie chart and he tracks where his business comes from. And over half it came from referrals. It's past clients, it's people reaching out to other friends or friends reach out to them or relatives. Oh, hey, I work with this guy, he sends me a postcard every time, he invites me to his events, I see him on social media, you should work with him. That's how referrals happen, and it comes from brand recognition and awareness, but also consistently seeing you. It's not just once a year in your Christmas postcard, it's throughout the year. It's in your inbox, it's in your mailbox, it's maybe at your door, it's at your event. It's really being in their face and on top of their mind constantly. It doesn't have to be daily, it just cannot be once a year. So the goal is to really provide to create a system and process that is effective once you close on a client. Or if you're not closing on a client, what relationships you're maintaining to one day gain them as a client. Or I even know people who don't have any real estate needs, but they'll refer me out to people just because of who I am and how I'm promoting myself. So it doesn't have to be even a past client necessarily. It could just be a friend who could give you a future client. And so this 30, 90, 180, this is supposed to be when let's say you do have a closing, what are the ways that you're going to communicate with them 30 days after, 90 days after, and then 6 months after? So there should be a plan that you're engaging with whoever your past client is or whoever the person in your database is at least 4 times a year. It should be quarterly at the least. And that's the phone call. I would say 4 calls a year. Even us in the office, we're trying to implement that into you guys, into our own brokers. How are we communicating with our brokers? Because you guys are like a database to us as a team. So what plans of communication have we established that maintains the relationship? And again, like you said, you wouldn't just call your partner 4 times a year and be like, hey, still love you. Let me know if you want to buy me dinner.
Who does, new number.
The relationship starts to dwindle and then the lack of trust and really knowing the person goes down, declines. And even that statistic that, 80 something percent, 82% of people would
Yeah.
reuse the same agent. But there's a stat that came out when Lennox is here in June that, oh my gosh, it was like 20 something, it was in the 20s of people remember who it is that they
Oh,
use.
yeah, that they
And
even remember your name.
The level of people who remember who you are is like, man, she was really great, but cannot remember her name. And then they're like, well, there's probably someone else who's really great in the area. Or I remember John L. Scott, it was John L. Scott something. And then they'll call here and they'll be like, I work with an agent, but I just,
I know, we
I know you
get
guys
those.
are a great company. Do you have a broker I can work with? Like that happens.
We get that often.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
Got
I
it.
worked with a John Scott agent, I can't think of her name, or they're, like, seriously, you'd be shocked how many times that happened.
Yeah. Or I did business with so and so, we closed like last year, but I have some questions. That's an up call for us, because we don't know the broker, we don't know
Yeah.
who it is, so we have to be like,
Try to
well,
look 'em
somebody help
up.
them. Somebody help them, and I mean, before I joined the team, like I had Josh's magnet on my fridge. I don't think I would ever forget, because his little cups, half a cup ratio stuff was on my fridge. Cups and measures, like,
Yeah,
it's hard to forget when you're on your fridge every day.
yeah,
So it's just being mindful of how you're looking for those referrals. 'Cause referrals do come with time, but what you do within that time is what matters to get the referral. They're not just gonna refer you just because you even are on their fridge. It has to be that engagement and consistent communication. I have some friends who have the same little magnet and they get her postcards in the mail, but they're like, I mean, we've haven't talked to her in years, but they've forgotten her stuff.
yeah,
They wouldn't know what's going on in her life. They don't know what's going on in their life. They just know, oh, they seem like reliable, they've been around in the area and always send us stuff, but I don't really know them. It's just, I mean, I get a lot of stuff in the mail. I see people like, oh
you
yeah,
guys probably do too,
I don't
I'm
really know
sure.
that. I don't know who that really is. How are you gonna get a referral from that if they don't really know who you are?
Right.
So having a process, which I think on the next slide, I will talk about that, but automated requests, so that was what we were talking about with the reviews.
Yeah,
And hey, if you have someone who has a real estate need, just let me know.
Yep.
I'm here for them always, like I made a social post saying, hey, I'm here for your friends and family, let me know if anyone needs anything. Just every once in a while, checking on Facebook, hey, just a reminder, I'm here. If you guys need anything or wonder how the market is, because they usually are, if you're in real estate, I'm here to answer any questions you guys have. Comments like that on social media, in your emails, on postcards, in your conversations. Hey, you didn't answer the phone, that's okay, it's McKenna, just wanted to check in, see if you had anyone I can help, I'm always here for you guys. Bye. Stuff like that, I mean, it's part of the business too, you are in sales, that they already work with you.
Yeah.
Why should they work with you again? Why should they have somebody else that they know work with you? I would not recommend somebody who messed up my hair to somebody else to get their hair cut there. I'd be like, well, if you want crooked bangs, go there. I wouldn't do that. I have somebody that I trust with something that fit. Which, yeah, like your parents or financial investments, those are big things to just refer out. So making sure that you have a schedule of how you're asking people and what you're asking them through is really important. And then the last one is, so these two are more about how you're getting in touch with your clients for referrals, but the last one is a client advisory board. So that's people that you would refer out. And so we are talking about Relo, but who would you trust and why? So if you were to refer someone out, if you were to give someone out to another state, like you don't work in Arizona, I'll set you up with a broker there. What would make you choose them, basically? Why would you, what characteristics or what attracted you to that broker that made them appealing? Like, why do you trust them? Because those characteristics and qualities and services should be ones that you want to reflect in your own business, because that's what you're trusting them, right? Or passing them off to another client. Especially here, we have one of the biggest reloads even in this office of people who are referring others out. It's important to know that you're taking maybe your past client and handing them into the other hands of another broker. And your services, but do you know that they're gonna get cared for with all these characteristics we talked about of honesty and confidence and top results? Are they gonna get the same thing in Arizona with that broker? So even having your own referral list, because even in consult, you just never know what people know or what other people know about other people. So my grandma's actually moving to Arizona. I didn't know you had services down here. Oh, well, yeah, I know I'm helping you sell your house here in Auburn, but if you have someone who needs to buy somewhere else, I'll take 25%, you know, but refer you to somebody else, but even having that as a part of your presentations and conversations and on your social media, I'm global. That makes you stand out way more than just your local EXP realtor who might help you in New York. Like, I mean, it's just adding on all the levels of services that you provide. And it keeps answering that question of why you should work with me, because I don't just do the contracts and sign and then show up and get you the keys. I do way more than that. I can offer way more, because you just never know what people are gonna need and who they know that has other needs in real estate. So
Yeah, but I'm local, I'm global is such a key, like we talked about
Yeah.
that yesterday, it's like.
it's easy. I mean,
have to
you
throw
really
that
don't
out.
do anything
Yeah,
in the
you have
process.
to.
You just refer out someone's name and you get money. So I mean,
No.
to be that middleman communicating with your clients and people you know, especially even family. Like I've had family move away, and if I was I wasn't an agent at the time, but if I was, I would have definitely referred them out to Idaho, but I didn't have the ability to. So if you know, even your own family who has to move away for a job or move here, like get on top of those referrals. But this is the template we were talking about, is having kind of a process. So this is a different idea is you have at closing, you say, hey, here's my Google profile. If you could please ask them for a review, please let me know how my services were, what you enjoyed about it. I know even working with Josh, we had an email that went out within 3 days of closing that said, hey, congratulations on your home. We were honored to work with you. If you could please let us know how we did and the services that we provided, that would be wonderful. Have a great day. And that was it. That was the email that we sent out, and it had a link to the reviews page. You do have to have a Google profile, so if you don't have one, you really should set one up. There's not a bigger search engine as of right now for services than Google. I know AI is competing with that, ChatGPT is competing with that, but they still pull information from Google and from major search engines. So keeping Google profile as a priority is still relevant. Despite what's going on with AI, they're still gonna pull from Google. So at closing, you ask, hey, can I have a review? And then if a week later, you write them a note with I thought this was creative, you write them a note with a photo from their closing day. Hey, it's been a week, thank you so much. Again, if you could help support our business and let us know how we did, that would be wonderful. Maybe they did, maybe they didn't, it doesn't matter. Leave them the note in the handwritten card. It's personal, it's from you, asking them, again, if you have anyone who else needs real estate needs or questions, I'm happy to help. Best Karen. Like that's a very simple way of just getting personal, that personalized touch with your follow-up, even right after the transaction. And then 30 days later, hey, how's the house? Do you need anything? I know it's fall time, like we talked about yesterday, it's fall. Do you need your gutters cleaned? Do you need any winterizing needs? How's the rain or whatever it is? That's just a nice check-in 30 days after that. Now they should be in your follow-up process after. So you really are intentional with the relationship even after closing. And then you put them into that funnel of referrals and how they're 60, 180, you should be saying, hey, how can I help you? Anyone else that can help? I'm local and global conversation.
Yeah,
So
I know someone that does their Google review request when they go pending. As soon as they get the offer accepted, that's when they do it, because. The one thing, as soon as you're past the closing day, they're trying to move, they're busy, they don't have time, sometimes they don't even plug their computer in for days and stuff, so it's like. You have much, much better odds getting that Google review filled out towards the very, very beginning of the sale.
Yep.
So you might want to implement that type of a strategy.
the next one we'll talk about is packaging your services. So what we were talking about yesterday, you're listing your buyer presentations. This, obviously these guides right here are one of the most helpful pieces that you take into your any presentation. But within that, I will say that there's a lot of these key points that you can put out onto your social media, onto your email campaigns. how you do what you do is what people want to know. They want to see how you do it specifically. That's why even when people see behind the scenes of how you go through a house or how you prepare it, how you're doing the contract, like people, they don't know, or they've never seen it because no one else is putting out that kind of content. They want to see, how do I price something? Oh, I didn't know how you price a home. I haven't sold a home in 20 years, or I've never sold a home.
Yeah.
And all that information is new to them. So even sharing how you do that, your strategies behind it, who you use to inspect a home, why, how you prepare the home, why staging stands out versus other, why the floor plans stand out, that's a new one, as far as being valuable to buyers, why you use floor plans, all that is great content that you can take from your listing presentation and put it out to the world. How you do it and why you do it. Why should I do 3 open houses all weekend? How, what, I would say, if I had a listing right now and I was like, yeah, I'm gonna be doing an open house all 3 days. And they saw like, oh, you're gonna promote my house all 3 days, yeah, I'm gonna do that. And then throughout the week, if there's some, depending on activity, I'm actually just gonna do a week-long open house from 4 to 6 every night. I'm just gonna host an open house at your place, get as much traffic as I can. If I tell that to my seller, that's great. But if I tell that to the world, yeah, for my seller this week, I'm gonna be at their house every evening, because I know it's a busy hour for people. It's in a hot area. I want other people to see their home as much as possible, because that's my service, that's my value. Is I'm going above and beyond to get people in their house to see it, to see the value. And the seller just feels like they're the only one in the world, getting the services from you. So anything that you communicate to your buyers, your sellers, communicate that to your social media, to your emails, to your letters, even a letter in the mail that says, hey, this is the win of the week. I helped so-and-so look at a few homes. I don't like running around or having my buyers run around everywhere, so I make the route for them. Like even showing how you do routes for your buyers, how you look at homes, like they don't know. They have no clue how that works.
Right.
They maybe have the question in their head, oh, I wonder how it works, but now they're curious because you brought it up in a little letter of like, you want to go on a buyer tour with me? Here it is. This is how I do it. They may not be buying, but it's interesting. Oh, I didn't know that before. And they might know somebody who needs to buy a home.
Yep.
And again, it's just content. It's creative things that people don't know or don't know they didn't know. So
It's more social proofing, the
Yes.
same thing, like, for the sellers, like. We have a few brokers that do this strategy. They list properties on Friday. They
Yeah.
make it go live like at past midnight on Thursday evening, they'll make it live. It already has pre-scheduled all of the open houses. They start with the twilight on Friday. It's open Saturday, Sunday, and Monday, and they review offers on Tuesday. That is like their full like strategy, and they
Yeah, well,
activate the neighbors, they door knock, they do flyers, they do door hangers. Delivery, they pay a company to go do 150 doors to go like knock and invite.
Mhm.
I would rather you do that, do it yourself, but some of them even do that, but and they put that out on their social media, like, hey, this is what will be this weekend. Our listing just went live. These are the days we'll be open. We'll be in this neighborhood. This is what we do for all of our sellers. And then you got people looking out there like, my seller hasn't done or you got another seller's like, my broker hasn't done a single open house. He said open houses are a waste of time and I don't want to work with buyers. I only work with you.
Or they say the market's doing great, your house
Yeah.
will sell this weekend. And then 30 days later, they have the same conversation
Yeah.
saying it's not your house. It really isn't.
Yeah,
It's probably just the agent, but they don't want to confess that.
Yeah,
It's
exactly.
really- I mean, it's going above and beyond what other people are gonna be doing.
Right.
And even the standard right now is not crazy. I mean, in our area especially, like, it's so underwhelming walking into open houses or seeing, just hearing stories of what people are experiencing through buying and selling, that they're getting the bare minimum of service. And they just think, oh, well, they're the professional, they know what they're doing. They're the one who will contact me. It's like, no, that's not the standard. Like, you have to communicate the why work with me standard is a different level.
Yeah.
Of what they're not providing. You provide the whole listing value in every presentation, in every transaction you do, that's what you're doing every time. And if you're not communicating that to a person, you should be communicating it to your social media and to your videos and to your emails and to your like door, all that should be communicated. All
Yeah.
that.
It's again, you're just re-embracing, your professionalism. I mean, when you do these types of things. And there are a lot of brokers who, they still do good business. They don't do the social proofing. They don't add these types of things. But when you can explain online and show, and especially when you tell a story, like you said, McKenna, telling a story, that's what people gravitate to.
Mhm.
That's the way videos are shot, telling a story, how your marketing should be telling the story and stuff like that. It just attracts more and more to you, especially people, who will like immediately start liking you the way you're doing things because you're proving it. You're proving it.
Then-
Prep plan?
Yeah, I was gonna say, let's go to the buyer really quick, cause I wanna get to the last two slides.
Oh,
as
okay.
well. This is just like a layout of what so there's listing side, there's the buyer side. What you present in your consultation, the criteria, how you help them figure out what criteria they want. Even this past weekend, I was with the broker who was on a consultation for like 2.5 hours with a buyer. It was a couple who buying their first house and the consultation lasted almost 3 hours.
Wow.
And honestly, an hour, it was like an hour and 45 minutes into it, I heard the question, so what kind of, how many bathrooms and bedrooms? And like, by an hour and 45 minutes, they still were getting into the criteria of the home. Which I do think I put lender partnership and be a game changer because they had a lender on the call for this, or this buyer consultation. It was a first time home buyer. So they don't know anything about the home buying process, and what they know is probably off of TikTok or anything they Google. So they had a professional lender in their first consultation with them to explain the lending process. I mean, we should know about the lending process, but a lender should really know the lending process. So to explain it in a simple and comprehensive way for a first time home buyer, I think it really helped extend even that meeting because they started to have more questions and trust them, and they got through all the criteria, but even the financing was a huge part of it because it's the money. How much money do I need? How much is it gonna cost? What does this really look like? I mean, I'll just kind of go to it. I know we're short on time, but the consultation really communicating what you do for even your buyers and what you provide for them. Anything that you communicate vocally with someone in a conversation should just put it on social media. Ask us at the office for marketing help if it's creating templates for that, if it's creating the content for that. We have, lenders and title people who can provide how things are done. You just have to be the expert that people trust, but you have to communicate that. Touring, how you tour, I just said, your efficiency of how you do that, how you write offers, what strategies you use, what strategies you've seen work, and what strategies you've seen not work. And what you do as far as like inspections, appraisals, like what that process looks like, who covers the costs on those. Those are all questions that people have or can't remember. It's been years since I bought a house. I don't remember the process. Can you refresh me? All great content and conversation with your consultations and in your digital presence.
Yeah, you will win a lot of buyers over, especially, doing efficient touring. I had some clients that came from Oregon as a referral, and they originally were looking in Oregon, and they were working with a broker and someone different than the person who referred me, which is funny. But they were like, they told me like, oh my goodness, it was like, oh, we love the like the showing time. You know how you can make it go into the order of the farthest first or whatever, you can do all of that and you can share the whole thing, with the buyers and give them the directions and all. They were like, this is amazing. Eric, this is unbelievable. One of the brokers we were working with in Oregon, they were like, here, go meet me at this house and text, and they like gave us nothing, and we were like, is this the right? Gave them the wrong addresses and stuff, and then they were late to things, and they were like, this is incredible. we love this. So those like little, little things you can do will make a huge difference
It should
in
be
the
the
client's
standard.
experience.
Yeah, it should be the standard, but it's not for everybody, so you just have to know, like, you're setting the standard, and even having something on showing time mapped out for them.
Yeah,
That might be a new experience for somebody, which it should just be the standard, but
right.
it's not, unfortunately. We just have so many uneducated brokers in the industry that you have to communicate what stands out about you and why they should work with you.
So offer, obviously, so, strong negotiation, terms. Escalations, the risk management, obviously being well versed, having transactional excellence, that's what we constantly work on here. That is obviously gonna be huge, buyer stack value, I mean, there's huge value in that. We just had conversations with one of our top producers who walked by earlier and asking me questions like, this buyer broker included this form, it's the wrong thing. They didn't include this thing, they put this in wrong, they did this wrong, and I was like, what should I do? And it's like, okay, well, tell our seller, it's like that type of knowledge is so key in our industry. And the sad truth is, the clients, the public, they don't know the level to which each person's knowledge is when it comes to these things. They just know they were referred to someone. Or whatever, I mean, most of the time. There's no system online that shows everyone like, oh, look at this, it's like a baseball player's or football player's scorecard of their,
Yeah.
Stats. They can't see that, they don't know that.
Mhm.
And there's companies out there literally like, okay, I got my license, and they're like, all right, welcome aboard, call me when you get your first deal. But yeah, that's it. That's all you get. And the public has no idea what their skill level is.
You have to really communicate your knowledge. It's not gonna be known. They're gonna assume every broker's the same because you're a licensed broker, so you must know
Oh, you must.
what to do.
You passed the test, right?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, literally, it's like a driving. Oh, you really got your driver's license, you must be a great driver.
Yeah.
We know that's not true. Not
Exactly,
everybody is a good driver out there. So you really have to prove yourself. It's a social proof, it's your in-person proof, and you're proving yourself and
Yeah.
showing why people have worked with you or should work with you, so.
Scripts and sound bites, pricing is a strategy, not a number. I love that. That's a really good thing. I'd write that one down. I price to maximize demand in week 1 using current local data. Marketing that moves the needle, pro media, floor plans, like we talked about yesterday, and distribution to capture the right buyers. Negotiation with a playbook. I manage deadlines, contingencies, and leverage to protect your net proceeds. I mean, that's literally a good idea. For buyers, speed and clarity wins. I use data and lender alignment to write strong, clean offers. Local intel you can bank on, neighborhood comps, micro trends, off-market watch list. Calm through complexity. I run the process so you can focus on the move, not the paperwork. These are some great things you can like tell each side of the client, to buyers and for sellers. And that is just gonna reinforce why to work with you. And again, action plan, key performance indicators. Next 30 days, publish updated bio, 90-second pitch on all channels. Add why me slide to every CMA buyer packet.
Resume.
It's just that online resume. Call 10 past clients for engagement and vendor needs. The goal is to get a referral. But when you're reaching back out to your past clients, say, how are things? Do Ford, family, occupation, recreation, and dreams. But how are things? Do you guys need anything? Any vendors? Here comes fall. We're gonna have rain and stuff, as soon as all the pine needles fall and the leaves get stuck in your gutter, do you need any roof services?
Yeah.
Just by you doing that, that is just the outreach and the conversation to keep the relationship going. And that is how referrals happen automatically without you even needing to ask. It's because you're being professional. I know someone that uses the key phrase, they always say this, they're like, if I didn't call, I wouldn't be a good realtor. If I didn't call and update you on these new laws, I would be a
I
good
wouldn't be.
realtor. If I didn't do this, I would be a good realtor, you know, so it's a really cool script to state with
Yeah,
something.
and on your 90-second pitches, that's a great video to just be like, hey, this is what I do and why I do it, how I do it. Those are easy, not even a minute videos that you can put on.
Yeah.
Your social media and share with your sphere.
Metrics to track, you know, are you doing all these inquiry, consultation, conversion rate, like we talked about
Track it,
earlier,
yeah.
track it. Consultation agreement signed rate, are you getting them signed? It's like, how many appointments are you getting, and then are you actually getting them signed? And then, of course, signed to closed ratios, average days on market, selling percentage to list price ratio. And then, of course, reviews per closing, referral percentage.
Yeah.
So how, you know, these are all things you should be tracking and keeping an eye on off of every single thing you're doing.
That's it.
And that is that. And our sources, of course, with the NAR 2024 profile for home buyers and sellers. NAR magazine coverage on referrals and what sellers want. Keeping Current Matters posts on why to hire an agent, and Northwest MLS monthly snapshots for Washington talking points. So that is our part 2. Thank you guys for making it today. We hope you enjoyed this second session. If you need to review, I already uploaded part 1 onto our YouTube channel. So go into the playlist and you guys can get those. But we thank you for making it today. And we look forward to seeing you on the next sessions. Thanks, guys.